Good morning. Happy Tuesday. I hope everybody is doing wonderful this beautiful fall morning. I am just sharing this around. There we go. Let's turn this around. All right. So if you are here, say hello. And if it's your first time, hey, say it's your first time. If you're watching this on the replay, which will be in a little bit, then you know what? Hey, it's all good. I mean, I'm needing another haircut again. This stuff's getting crazier every time. So, new earring alert. See the feathers? Avon bought the feather earrings back. They are so pretty. I love them. Yep, I love them. How was your weekend? Here we are again, and it is October, and I told you it was coming, and I told you it was coming fast, and here we are. So if you're watching this in any of my groups, my Onward group, my Team Onward, or my Customer VIP group, or my Onward with Molly, Cooking with Molly page, welcome. We're gonna talk about the sore point today. I couldn't get away from it. I actually was researching, talking about other things because, in all honesty, this kind of makes me uncomfortable too at times, So comparison, it can be of the devil, let me tell you. It can be. And I think that especially women more so will really take this comparison thing. And I don't care if it's the size of your butt, or if it's business, or if it's lifestyle, or if it's the person they're with, or their marriage, or no matter what it is, comparison, I believe, is used more for the negative than probably anything else that's out there. Probably. Is it Lee? Okay, let me check. It told me it was on. Let me see if I can. Settings. Let's see. I'm not sure I can check it now, babe. I'm looking. Hold on. Let me bring this up. Check the mic. Lee's all in my. Now he does this, and then he just takes my thought pattern. I'm like, oh no! I'm lost in the thoughts. What's going on? All right, let me see. Bum bum bum. Let's try this again. Hold on. No, I think what happened is, I think it's in the wrong one. It might be turning on now. Let us hope. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe so. Ba-dum-bum. I think it says we are on now. That might be better. It might not be better, but if not, I hope you guys can hear me. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Callie. Hello, everybody who's just jumping on. Here we go. Hopefully, Lee has me checking my microphone. If you can hear me okay, please let me know if you can hear me okay. I am checking things on my end here. Okay, I see. Hold on. I think it picked up my working properly. Yeah, I think it picked up the microphone mic. That's what it did. I still sound okay? Okay. Lee, you are right. It did pick up the microphone from the camera. I don't know why it did that. It just changed on me. But hey, that's okay. We're good. So we're going to get back to it. Okay, comparison. comparison can be a really, really bad thing, you know? Um, Maybe you compare somebody else's marriage, how their husbands are. Maybe you're like, wow, look how, he is always catering to her. Look at that. Or they always seem to have just the best relationship. And I am here to tell you guys, and if you're making comparisons, do me a favor. Don't make comparisons off of social media. Social media, luckily, is something that I need in business, because I have to tell you, I'm not so sure I would be on social media if it was not for business. Because business, it's needed where I'm at. Hi, Paula. Good to see you. But I have to be very careful in watching people's posts, because 98% of anybody who posts on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is, it's normally only the best they want you to see. You're not going to see them at their worst. You're not going to see their marriage at their worst. You're not going to see their relationship with their kids at their worst. You're not going to see the struggles. Look, guys, everybody has struggle. If they're human and they're breathing, everybody's got a struggle. Their struggle's probably just different. It probably just appears different. It probably is something that you probably wouldn't want their struggle, but you don't know about it, so you don't know whether to feel that way. You know what I'm saying? So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, because this is something that I still struggle with it from time to time. I really do. I do. Have you ever struggled with, you're like, I feel like I am always struggling. Like, the struggle is real. I'm always struggling with this. Maybe you're struggling with finances. Maybe you're struggling with business. Maybe you're struggling, and if you're in direct sales, maybe like my customer base, and I'm looking at these people over here and they make it look so easy, or it seems like her husband always listens to her, like every picture they post, everything is so wonderful. Stop it. It's not that wonderful. It's not. It's what the perception is that they want you to believe. I would love to tell you that Lee and I never have. It always amazes me. I'll put up a picture of me and Lee, and I'll post something, and it probably is a good day. I don't know. With me, you never know. Sometimes it's a bad day, and I'm more than willing to share it. But people go, oh my gosh, you guys are so suited for each other. Everything's so great. Let me be real for a moment. I am a lot. And I admit it. But let me tell you something. Mr. Bibb, he's a lot too. And sometimes when you put those a lots together, I am seriously, consistently hashtagging Jesus take the whole car. So when you're like, oh, Molly, you guys were just meant for each other. Well, we may be meant for each other. But one thing for sure, it ain't always perfect, Cupcake, okay? It is not. There are many times he stomps upstairs and he slams the door because I have just set him off. There are many times he has just irritated me to the bitter end, and I just look at him and go, leave me alone. I'm not posting all that on social media, but it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Now, is it far better than it is bad? Sure it is. But sometimes what comes with that relationship, what comes with that business, what comes with family, what comes with the relationships at work, sometimes it's not always as it appears. It's not. But what I want to talk about is what comparison, if you're somebody who you get caught up in the comparison game, what I want you to do is just take a listen to this, because I want you to be able to free yourself from this comparison thing. Free yourself from it, because I'm telling you, comparison is never good. It's really not. It always has you doubting your own path. It always has you doubting your own life, your own relationship. When you are looking at what everybody else is doing, what everybody else is posting about, what looks like success, to a lot of people may not be exactly what you think you're reading. There's a reason that I post so much about struggles. There's a reason why I post so much about just keep going. And it's because I can't really ever think of a time as far back as even when I was a kid that everything was just perfect for a long time. There was always something going on. I mean, my dad drank a lot in the early years of my childhood, and that brought a lot of drama. That brought a lot of anxiety to my life. I did not know it was called anxiety. I was 5, right? Like I was 3, 4, 5. But I remember instances where I just wanted it to stop. That when he came home and he had had too much to drink and he was very volatile and my mom was trying to handle him and my brothers were upset. These are things that I'm like, and people will go, oh, but then when they looked at A.T. George when he found God, suddenly he was this wonderful person to everybody. Well, here's the truth. He wasn't always wonderful. And life with him was not always good. Now, I'm sure he was very embarrassed by a lot of that in his life. But what I'm telling you is, I can move on. Let's move on to teen years. My mom died of pancreatic cancer when I was 16, and she was only 44 years old. That was such a downward spiral for me and my family. It was such an unraveling of an already dysfunctional family in so many ways. And yes, we were dysfunctional where God was concerned too. It really was. But the point is, I can keep going. I can go to the fact that when Dad decided it wasn't good for me to be at home anymore, he wanted me to leave. I was an inconvenience to his new marriage. And I can remember thinking, it's got to be better without him because it hurt so much with him. So I get out, I'm on my own, and it's hard. In order to survive, I have to work all the time. In order to make things happen, and yes, these are my younger years. These are 18 and 19 years old, but I had to keep a roof over my head, I had to do what most young people in my day weren't doing. They could go out on the weekends, they could do this, but let me be honest. When they said they didn't want to work and the shift was available, I took the shift. That was me. I took the shift. I was waitressing, and when they were like, oh, Molly, I really want to go out tonight. Do you want to work? Sure, I'll work that double. No problem. Because for me, my life was different. And yes, sometimes when I took the double, as appreciative as I was that they offered it to me, right? I would look at them going out and think, gosh, how do they do it? I don't understand. They're just going out and they have no cares in the world and they take off when they want to. Well, life wasn't as I knew it. They were living with mommy and daddy still. And they were able to have parents that when they didn't do what they should have done, guess what? Mom and dad were just giving them the money. They were just making it easier. I didn't have that. Life wasn't that kind of easy for me. But here's what I'm going to tell you. All that hard, all that not so easy, all that it didn't come as easy for me as it did for some, that has all made me who I am today. I was married before Lee, 17 years, 2 beautiful boys. I'm here to tell you, and there was a time there was more good than there was bad, but in the end, that's not how it was. So there I was in the midst of, oh great, I'm going to be somebody in my family who is divorced. And I hadn't seen that happen. Now let me be clear, I had seen a lot of unhappy marriages. I had seen a lot of unhappy people in marriages in our family. But they just stuck in there because nobody wanted to be the divorced person. For me, I didn't care. I needed out. And my boys needed out. And really, my ex-husband didn't realize it then, but he needed out too. He didn't think he did. he wanted to stay together, but he didn't want to make the changes in order to stay together. So in the end, it took him a lot of time, but I think he realized too that he needed out. And I have to tell you, who I was then is not who I am now. I say all the time, wow, if he was married to me now, he certainly wouldn't like who I am now, for sure. I don't think he could deal with me at all. I say that sometimes about my family, that they they can't deal with who Molly has little by little become. Somebody who finally stands up for herself, somebody who really looks at things instead of just going with the flow of how it's always been, saying, no, that's not in my best interest, and it's not in the best interest of the relationship with the person I'm with, and I'm not going to do that. But then you look, and comparison comes in. And I'm just telling you, it's not always as it is. I think about somebody who maybe they're going through cancer right now. And I know that even when you're going through the threat of cancer, because I was there a couple of years ago, that when you know this thing is in your body, and you know this thing is wanting to grow and it's wanting to take your life, and you're fighting it, or you're going to have the surgery, or you're going through the procedure, and you think, I don't even want to look at social media and these people I'm looking at. Everybody's just living their life, and here I am fighting this cancer. Here I am in the midst of, I don't think I deserve this, and you don't. You don't. But life sucks sometimes. And when you're trying to see yourself through it, I realized very quickly it was going to take more than me, myself, and I to realize that somewhere on this path, I was going to be better, and I was probably going to be different when I came through it. Have you ever been in the middle of a hard time, and when you're looking at things, I've done this a lot in business over the last couple of years, and you say to yourselves, I just want what I had. I didn't even appreciate what I had. I didn't appreciate what I had because back then I thought it was bad. It really wasn't that bad. But you know what? Now I look at where I'm at right now and I'm like, man, I have to fight harder. I have to work harder. I have to do this. I have to do that. These people seem to be getting it right. Why are they getting it right and I'm not getting it right? And I had to say, stop, Molly. Stop it. Where you are right now is where you are. It's your path. And I'm sure that there was a time, although they would be wrong, that many people thought and still think that where I am in business or where I am in life or where I'm at in North Carolina, many people think, oh, that was just so easy. No. Number one, change is not easy. Don't compare yourself to my journey because as much as I share with you, you probably still don't know it all. And it's never been easy. Having a marriage has never been easy. In the good times, it's really good. Having kids has never been easy. I love them, but the struggle has been real. And having a business that although it's my business, I still don't call all the shots. So is it really? Or is it something I needed to think differently about, right? It was never easy because about the time you got used to something, something was changing. And then you had to figure out a way around that. And we still play that game. And by the way, no matter what you do, if you're working for Target, if you are working for a tire company, in a doctor's office, life is going to change and how you do business is going to change. And sometimes how you do life with somebody is going to change. But we are so busy looking at the comparison. Galatians 6:3-5 says this about comparison. If anyone thinks they are something when they are not, they deceive themselves. Each one should test their own actions. Then they can take pride in themselves alone without comparing themselves to someone else. For each one should carry their own load. I'm going to read it again because, see, y'all say, oh no, the Bible is just about the old stuff, what happened with Moses and Adam and Eve and everything else, and okay, Jesus is in there, and hi, Catherine, and this is all good, but this is the Bible. No, I'm telling you, anytime I am struggling with something, there's always something in the Bible that will get me through the struggle. And in this case, the comparison game. Galatians 6, 3 through 5. Write it down and then go read it yourself. If anyone thinks they are something when they are not, they deceive themselves. Each one should test their own actions without comparing themselves to someone else. For each one should carry their own load. See, we all have our own load, right? We all have our own life. We all have our own path, our own journey. The struggle is real. It's the journey. You see me hashtag it all the time. Been doing it for almost 20 years now. Onward, no matter what. Onward, no matter what, with my journey, with my path. And some things are very similar for you that I might be working for. See, that's why I share. That's why I do this, because I can be talking about this, and you know what? You could be watching this replay, YouTube, live on Facebook later. But the point is, this may be something that you're like, oh my goodness, today I am feeling this so much. It happens to me consistently. You aren't alone. Comparisons stink. They do. They do. And comparison will always get you in trouble. Stop comparing yourself to your sister. Quit comparing yourself to the family next door. Quit comparing your relationship to the people that you see on social media. Quit comparing your business to somebody who has been in business 7 years longer than you, 4 years longer than you. Maybe they are newer than you, but guess what? Their journey is different because their path is different. Comparison can be the root of all evil thoughts to bring you down, and it's not necessary. Just when I think I've gotten to a good place in some area of my life, along comes someone or something that seems better in comparison. Oh, there's always something better. Catherine, we will definitely pray for you, my friend. I'm so sorry about your knee. And there's always something better in comparison. Isn't that the truth? Somebody gets somebody a better, but they had a prettier, they had a better wedding. They went on a better vacation. They seem to always be laughing with their kids no matter what. And here we are over there throwing Pepsi bottles at each other. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there is always something that if you let it in, you will compare. When I compare, my confidence shrinks back. It takes the hand of doubt and starts ransacking the peace right out of my heart and mind. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been there in the moment that the moment you start making do you feel the attitude changing? I do. When suddenly I'm comparing something like, oh my gosh, really, they're able to do this? Oh, wow, look at them. Oh, wow, look at them succeeding here. Oh, wow. The moment I let that, do you realize then it is a downhill spiral, which is why we say celebrate anybody who has it good at the moment. Because I've got news for you. No matter how good it seems to that person that you're comparing yourself to, and in the moment, everything might be great for them. But I'm telling you, no path is perfect. And they're going to deal with something that you wouldn't want to deal with if you had to walk their path. Because when we compare, we're not comparing with the full story. We're comparing with what we know right at that moment, what we see in a snapshot, what we read about in a post. Social media, as great as it is for keeping up with things, has also been the biggest demon in people doubting themselves, cyberbullying, people being brave enough to say mean and hurtful things that they would never say to your face. People consistently judging. I know deep down, sorry guys, I know deep down that God can and will use everything for good in my life. Remember, everything for good. That peace of mind, right? I know deep down that God can and will use everything for good in my life, even my areas of vulnerability. But honest to goodness, it's hard on this girl's heart. It is. It's hard when you start down that path of comparison to draw back and say, stop it, Molly. Stop comparing what's going on, your life, their life, different path, different zone, different time, different. Stop the comparison, because all it's going to do is bring you down. It's not your path. Not too long ago, I was in a situation where something I'm very self-conscious about was magnified when compared to others near perfection. I was at the beach with several friends who have dancer's legs. And by dancer, I mean like 20-year-old ballerina perfect legs. I guess you could say that I have dancer legs too, if you're referring to the dancing hippo from the children's movie Madagascar. Personally, I thought she just danced beautifully. Apparently, long, lean legs just aren't in my genetic makeup. I'm here for it. Testify. Even though I can eat healthy and exercise every bit as much as my ballerina-like friends. So there I was on the beach comparing my vulnerable place to their perceived strength. And in the private space of my most inner thoughts, I cried. I found myself feeling defeated and convinced that this area will always be a struggle for me. Oh, and I can make progress for sure. Heaven knows I do work on it. And most days, I see how God is using this all for the good. But when comparison sneaks in, it can be hard. Worse than hard. It can quite simply make me forget all the strengths I do have. And when I forget, my heart shifts. Remember I just talked about suddenly I feel the attitude start to change, and I mean quickly. Quickly. Not like, okay, in 2 days it shifts, like quickly. Comparison can do that. I stop being thankful and instead become consumed by the things that I don't have. Satan will always try to point out what's wrong to block out all that is good. The devil does that. He wants to show you every imperfection you have in your body, every imperfection you have in business, every imperfection you have in your marriage, in the way that you eat, in your relationship with your kids, because end of story is he wants to block what you're getting right. He doesn't want you to grow from the strengths that God has given you. And a lot of times, through the hard times you've had to deal with, is where that strength has developed. He doesn't want you to think about that. And his whispers sound pretty convincing sometimes. But that's a dangerous place to park your mind. You know, I always say, even with social media, you know, everybody feels this. Some people feel sad, some people feel frustrated, some people feel unloved, some people feel unappreciated, some people feel down, some people feel depressed, some people feel like they want to stay in bed. Listen to me. It's okay to visit there, but don't unpack there. Because when you unpack there, it leads to a whole different set of issues. In moments like these, I find myself needing to soak in the truths of Galatians 6, 3 through 5. If anyone thinks they are something they are not, they deceive themselves. Each one should test their own actions. Then they can take pride in themselves alone without comparing themselves to someone else. For each one should carry their own load. As I thought more about that day on the beach, I realized I wasn't praying up. I wasn't prayed up. Knowing I might have some comparison issues, I have asked God to help me keep my focus on Him. I just found myself wallowing, and wallowing isn't of God. It's not in the Lord. Really, if you are wallowing in self-pity for what you have or what you don't have, can I tell you, honest to God, can I tell you, there's nothing about that that's of God. Yeah, that's that human side of you, but we should be striving to be better than that. I share this with you because you need to know that we all struggle. I'm on a journey of learning just like you. And I desperately need God's truth to bump into my weaknesses every single day. Only then can I get out of the shadow of doubt and into the life-giving reality of who God has made me to be. And see, I need to see it as good, not perfect, not even close, but good. And good is good. And if God has brought you to it, He will see you through it. And sometimes when you go through that thing, even though you're busy over here looking at how perfect you think something else is, or you're comparing yourself to everything except who you are, sometimes you don't understand that what you're going through, how that's going to change you for the better, and how God is going to use that. How He can use it. Well, Molly, I don't have the gift of gab like you do. Molly, I can't. That's okay. Maybe that's not your thing. You have gifts, your own gifts. And maybe it's not a perfect marriage, but newsflash, no marriage is perfect, no matter how good the pictures are on Facebook. Business is not as perfect as it looks for anyone, because I got to tell you something, the bigger you get, take it from somebody who knows, it breeds more responsibility. It breeds more of your time. So to look and go, oh, I wish I was there. Do you know why you normally graduate to success? Do you know why you grow different levels? Do you know why you start as a contender in my company and maybe build up to President's Club? Because nobody just jumps to President's Club at the beginning. Because you're trying to learn business. And if I compare that to life, it is absolutely no different. You're not going to be in somebody else's space because that's not your life. It doesn't mean that what you have is not good. It does not mean that there cannot be growth from what you have or what you're dealing with. And in my case, when it brought about change in me, yeah, I'm different. I'm so different. I admit it. I am. But it has brought me to a better place, a better understanding. And honestly, I do wish that some of the things I've learned about life and revisiting my relationship with God, I wish that I had embraced it sooner. But that wasn't my path at the time. Because in order for me to talk to you about what's going on in my life now, it meant I had to walk through it. That's what it means. So the comparison game, don't get caught up in that. If it's something you can celebrate with somebody, celebrate it. But quit thinking that just because it's on social media, or maybe you're in a situation where every time you get together for a family event, everything is always perfect for this person in your family. Stop. It's really not. It's what they want you. It's what they want you to believe. That's not true. Somebody you work with will tell you just how wonderful everything is. I'm telling you, it's not always wonderful. That's not life. But maybe they have mastered how to get through what isn't wonderful so they can grow. And maybe they are holding on to the best things that happen because they don't want to unpack where the bad things are. See, maybe they're getting it right, and maybe we who try to compare, maybe we need to practice that. See, God never promised easy. He never said, "Oh, if you know me, hey, if you're a child, if you're one of my children, if you believe in God, if you have accepted Him as your Lord and Savior." He never said, "Well, because you did that, guess what? I'm gonna give you an easy life." Because if that's so, whew, let me tell you something. Life would not be what my life has been, and sometimes still is. But I'm learning. I am learning 100% that in the moment that I want to complain about X, Y, or Z, to give myself 5 seconds and say, I know I'm complaining about this, but what can I appreciate about this? And I find the A, B, and C to go with my X, Y, and Z. And the ABCs of thankfulness and gratefulness are all around me to take care of the negative of my X, Y, and Z. That if I wanted to stay there, if I wanted to unpack there, it would be so easy to do. But I don't want to do that. Because the life I'm living right now, I see so many people who are empty, who are lost, who are homeless, who are hungry. And I don't know what the backstories are, but I know I'm not there. So no matter how bad I think it is, I've got to concentrate on the goodness of what happens. I've got to concentrate on the fact that I'm still here and I can still share. And God can still use me. And Molly, stop comparing. Stop comparing. Just love on people. Just love people for who they are. Show them that God loves them. Show them that there is a reason to turn to Him amongst all this crap with inflation and the price of groceries and the price of gas and people. Business isn't good. People are... I get it. I get it. We're all dealing with so much. But when you're in that XYZ of the negative, I want you to go back and look at the ABC of thankfulness and positivity. And what can you pull from it and say, but I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful my kids are healthy. I'm thankful that my husband still has some of his sight. Oh, if I had my wish, he wouldn't have this terrible eye disease. Yeah. But he does. And we've had to get through years of it. And yes, we have seen just the loss happen sometimes before our eyes. But you know what I'm thankful for? I am thankful for Apple technology. I am thankful that in the midst of a disease that has no cure, that Apple has created things that, he can still read on his phone. No, there's a lot of things he can't see. People will send him memes, and people will send him certain things, and I'll have to read it to him or tell him what it is. But he still has the independence of saying, I want to go look for this. I want to, I don't know how long that will last. But I am so grateful for the years that I've had it. I mean, he laughs. This month, we are going to celebrate 18 years of marriage. 20 years together, but 18 years of marriage. He is now outnumbered the first husband. That's a blessing, right? He's been trying to get there. I was kidding with him at the table with my sister-in-law, Ann, last night, and I said to him, that's it. Nope. You're not going to make it to 18. You're not going to make it to the 22nd because you're getting on my nerves right now, and you're not going to make it. And he says, and he says, what? Where are you going? And I said, I'm going to leave. And he says, no, where are we going? Where are we going? Because you're not going without me. And I laugh because that is how we get through some of the worst of times. Look, Lee and I have been through some times that I'm not going to lie to you. It would have been much easier just to walk away from the marriage. That's the truth. That's the truth. We have been through some times in our life, some of it self-inflicted, some of it not, that it would be so easy just to say, I just don't want to be here anymore. This is hard. Hey, I know about hard, though. Lee knows about hard. We have lived hard our whole life. But do you know what makes hard easier? Doing it together. And respecting the bond of marriage that we have in God. And I may not have gotten it right in my first marriage, and Lee may not have gotten it all right in his first marriage. But we are here now. And what we don't do is compare ourselves to other people who are married, to what other people have. We look at what we've not just been blessed with, but what we've been blessed to get through. And we continue to get through. That is tossing the comparison away. That is saying, hey, we're still here, and we're still making this work, and we still focus on each other, and nothing but God comes before that. Not anything. Life would love for you to just compare for the rest of your life. Don't get caught up in that. This says, Dear Lord, forgive me for all the times I've compared myself to others. I know you have handpicked all my qualities. Help me see these things as beautiful reminders of your great love in creating me. The ABCs of thankfulness need to override the XYZ of negativity. But when you let comparison enter the in-between, it will be a quick shooting ladder down to the negative if you unpack there. Don't do it. Look at what you have. Find a way to embrace it. And look at the things God has not just blessed you with, but He's continuing to bring you through. You will be stronger and you will be wiser if you choose to look for it. God doesn't allow you to go through anything without knowing He can bring you through it. So if you've lost somebody and you feel like you're never going to get over it, yes, you can, and other people have. Don't compare your journey to theirs, but yes, you can. If you've had a failed marriage and you think this is never going to work for me again, if you have issues with your kids and you feel like, oh no, this is never going to be be as it was. Let me tell you something about be as it was. There would not have been problems in relationships if how it was worked so well. Have you ever thought about that? If how it was worked so well, many people go, I just want to go back. I get it, because you don't want change. I just want to go back to the... No, you don't. No, you don't. Because if that worked so well, we wouldn't be here fretting about what is in present. The growth comes as you go through it, and then what you're going to do to be different, to do better, to learn, to apply the knowledge of what you just went through and make things better. I had to do that with my kids. I've had to do this with my marriage. I have to do it with my relationship with God. Do you know how many times I say to him, I'm so sorry, God, I didn't take the time for you today. I know why my day seemed like it sucked. Because not once did I legitimately bring you into it, God. I'm sure there were times you were trying to say, hey, I'm here. Don't forget, I'm here with you. But I just decided I was going to tackle it all on myself. I decided that I was going to let the comparisons get to me and bring me down. I was going to decide what a loser I was in the midst of this. I was ready to decide that you didn't want me to have anything better than what I have, and know what he wants me to do is appreciate what I do have. And stop worrying about what everybody else has. And see the importance of what he has provided in my life, even when life is hard. Doesn't happen if I don't bring him in every single day. I challenge you to do that. Challenge you that when things, you start to feel that comparison thing, when you start to feel like nobody cares, when you start to get on Facebook and just rant about how bad life is and what's going on, and I'm not making fun, but it is the truth, and you do, and my first thought is always, man, did you in any way bring God into it today? Did you ask him, God, just get me through this moment of how I'm feeling? Because if you do, before you hit that phone to type your frustrations and your anger and your comparisons and everything else and the way you want to go off about everything, if you do that, I guarantee you the post will be different. I'm not saying you're miraculously going to change, but I'm going to tell you something. That thing that you're complaining about, there are people who have it much worse than you. And sometimes we just get caught up. So don't get caught up in that. Let God lead you. Remember, he says, if anyone thinks they are something when they are not, they deceive themselves. Each one should test their own actions. Then they can take pride in themselves alone without comparing themselves to someone else, for each one should carry their own load. Worry about your load. Worry about your path. Worry about your life. Leave the comparison for somebody else. I hope for nobody. Because I'm telling you, it is a spiraling staircase that once you start to go down, you can't stop. And in the end, you don't feel better about yourself. You don't feel better about, what are you saying, something horrible about the people you're comparing yourself to? Are you saying something horrible about what you wish your husband was, or your kid was, or your mom was, or your dad was? Hey, believe me, there are a lot of things I wish, but I'm here. And I'm getting through every day, whether it's pain, celebration, praise, no matter it is, I'm going to get through it. And when I decide to bring God into that day, it's always better. It's always better. So I hope this helps you. I hope that if you are somebody who maybe you don't want to admit that this is how it is, and this is what you do. Satan will always try to point out what's wrong to block out all that is right. The ABCs of thankfulness will keep you away from the XYZ of negativity and comparison if you choose it, but only if you choose it. Take care. Have a great day. Hope this helps.